Hello everyone, my name is Sarafi and I'm happy to meet you all. And today we're going to be taking a look at existing dinosaur combos so we can see what we might expect to come to Duel Links at the end of the month. I'm really excited for the new deck building box or the new pack or whatever they're going to do. And if you take a look, what I really wanted to show you with this is that we're not far off from perfection in Duel Links. So this is a Master 5 list from November 2024 from Sylvan Spieler. And this was, I think this was the last Master 5, the last Master list that I could find for dinosaurs that used, I was looking specifically like for Scrap Wyvern as a way to test whether, dinosaurs were in the game or not. So maybe there was one that didn't play Scraps in like, March or something, but I didn't see it. And let's take a look at this deck list. It looks pretty great. Okay, so this deck uses all the new cards. So it has the typical dinosaur building blocks. It has all the Evolzor cards, and it has all of the Scrap support as well as all of the Transcendosaurus support. So if we look at this deck, Frostosaurus is a level 6 normal dinosaur monster, which is important for Transcend cards. We're not getting Transcend most likely, so this card is probably not going to be in the deck list, but we do have it in Duel Links. Next up, we have Psyframe Driver, which gets paired with Psyframe Gamma. These are hand traps. We don't play these. Effect Veilers in the game already. Animadorn Archosaur is almost certainly coming to the game, thanks to the skill that says that, you're going to send a non-dinosaur monster to your graveyard, which the only non-dinosaur monster that makes sense in any combo is Link Karibo, and you need a level 1 dinosaur monster to make Link Karibo, and Animadorn Archosaur is really the only one that matters. So this card's definitely coming. Baby Ceratosaurus, we already have it in Duel Links. Petite Ranodon, this card could definitely come to Duel Links. Right now we do not have this card. It would make sense for this card to be added at this point because it's used alongside Baby Ceratosaurus. So Baby Ceratosaurus, let me explain these cards, right? Animadorn Archosaur, if it's summoned, you can pop a dinosaur in your hand and then add an Evolution Pill spell from your deck to your hand. And you will either pop Baby Ceratosaurus or Petite Ranodon. Baby Ceratosaurus is if this card is destroyed by a card effect and sent to the graveyard, even from your hand. Special summon one level 4 or lower dinosaur monster from your deck, not once per turn, and mandatory. Petite Ranodon is level 2, if this card is destroyed by a card effect and sent to the graveyard, special summon one level 4 or higher dinosaur monster from your deck, but it cannot attack this turn. Also mandatory, also not once per turn. So these two cards are basically like carbon copies of each other. They have similar artwork, they have similar effects. Petite Ranodon is technically more powerful than Baby Ceratosaurus since it summons higher powerful monsters, but we don't have it in the game yet, but it definitely doesn't make sense to add it at any time other than right now. So I do expect Petite Ranodon will be added to the game this time. Ash doesn't matter. Scrap Chimera is already in Duel Links. Scrap Chimera. This card cannot be used as synchro material except for the synchro summon of a scrap monster. Also, all other synchro material monsters must be scraps. When this card is normal summon, you can select a scrap tuner monster in your graveyard and special summon it. So Scrap Chimera is an SR in the game that's already. Then we have Miscellaneousaurus. During either player's battle main phase, you can send this card from your hand to the graveyard, and during this turn, dinosaur monsters you control are unaffected by your opponent's activated effects. That's dumb. It is a quick effect, which means that you're. It's a quick effect, which means that if your opponent tries to crack down or compulse your monster, you can chain Misk to it, and then your monster is simply unaffected by that existing effect. So it's a hand trap that is basically a negate for anything that would remove one of your cards from the field. And people do not play around this. They don't know how this card works. It's ridiculous. You can banish any number of dinosaur monsters from your graveyard, including this card. Special summon a dinosaur monster from your deck with a level equal to the total number of banished monsters banished to activate this effect, but destroy it during that phase. So Misk, discard it. All your dinosaurs are unaffected. Banish it. Search Animadorn or Archosaur. Start your combo. So this card is already in the game. You can get it at 3. Soul Eating Oviraptor, if this card is normal or special summon, you can take one dinosaur monster from your deck, either add it to your hand or send it to the graveyard. You can target one other level 4 or lower dinosaur monster on the field, destroy it, then special summon one dinosaur monster from your graveyard in defense position. So Soul Eating Oviraptor is absolutely being added. The skill references it by name, so that card, we can surmise that Animadorn Archosaur is being added. Soul Eating Oviraptor is absolutely being added. And the skill even turns one of your opponent's monsters into a level 4 dinosaur for you. So you can literally use Soul Eating Oviraptor to just destroy your opponent's monster to trigger its effect, which means you don't go minus, your opponent goes minus, and you get to remove one of their cards while also using your very powerful Oviraptor effect. That's insane. That's very similar in power to the Predaplants getting a free Predator counter so that they can tribute with their Hydrangea or whatever the kaiju they have is called. So yeah, very similar in power to that, especially since the Soul Eating Oviraptor is a free normal summon. So yes, I think this will be very good. Dinosaurs will be crazy going second. I don't know how good they'll be at going first, but they will be crazy going second, just like Predaplants. Giant Rex, if this card is banished, you can special summon it. You can only use this effect once per turn. Yep, that's just a really good rank 4 material, and this card is in Duel Links as a UR that you get from beating Tyranno in a duel. Scrap Raptor. Please, Konami. Level 4 Earth Dinosaur Tuner Monster. You can target one monster you control. Destroy it. Also, during your main phase's turn, you can normal summon one Scrap Monster in addition to your normal summoner set. If this card is destroyed by the effect of a Scrap card and sent to your graveyard, you can add one Scrap Factory or one non-tuner Scrap Monster from your deck to your hand. You can only use each effect of Scrap Raptor once per turn. So, you normal summon Scrap Raptor, you use this effect, you destroy it. It goes to the graveyard. It adds you Scrap Chimera. Then you normal summon Scrap Chimera. Scrap Chimera revives Scrap Raptor from the graveyard. And now you can link summon. Really, really good. This is a really good way to start the Scrap combo. Scrap Chimera is just like, it's just these two cards are just excellent. Now, Scrap Chimera is already in the game. Scrap Raptor is not. Again, just like with Petite Ranodon, it doesn't make sense to add it any other time. They already had a Scrap box. It was already bad. Give us the remaining Scrap supports. You know, you could have like a cool deck building box where we have like just a couple of dinosaur cards and a couple of the remaining Scrap cards. Add Wyvern, add Raptor. You know, and then you can go into the box, you can build dinosaurs all at once, and you have a skill, and you just pop off, and it's insane. The main problem with them adding Scrap Raptor, of course, is the fact that you can't summon Scrap Chimera with the skill, because the skill restricts you from summoning non-dinosaur monsters. That part is very frustrating. And because the skill restricts you from summoning Scrap Chimera, maybe they won't add Raptor. But I mean, you could just not play the skill, is the thing. If they added Scrap Raptor, you could just play dinosaurs without a skill. You don't need a skill to make this deck work. It's really good. We'll have to see. Man. I was excited, and now I'm just like, they made the skill. They literally made the skill so that you can't play Scraps. I don't know why. I don't know why they would do that. Unfortunate. Xeno Meteorus. This card is almost certainly not coming. But I mean, the Xeno cards are like a very minor part of this combo. They're used to make Lars, which Lars is a really good card, but Lars is not coming to Duel Links for any time in the future. And if we had Xenos and we didn't have Lars, we would use them to make Evolzar Solda, which is an okay card, but not nearly as good as Lars, so it's not really like a big part of the combo. Dino Wrestler Pankratops. This card is very important, and it's crazy that we don't have it in Duel Links yet, especially with how bad Dino Wrestlers are. Dino Wrestler Pankratops is a level 7 Earth Dinosaur monster. If your opponent controls more monsters than you do, you can special summon this card from your hand. You can only special summon Pankratops once per turn this way. And as a quick effect, you contribute one Dino Wrestler monster, then target one card your opponent controls and destroy it. You can only use this effect once per turn. So it's a level 7 Earth monster with 2,600 attack points that can come out for free. And then during either player's turn, you contribute it to pop one of your opponent's cards. It's a very fair interaction. Basically, a really good card for going second, which the deck is already really good at going second. So I feel like Pankratops. Maybe they'll say that you don't need Pankratops because they gave you the Soul Eating Oviraptor free pop. And they'll say that's basically like Pankratops, which it is, to be fair. Getting an extra normal summon with Soul Eating Overraptor, and then popping one of your opponent's monsters instead of using Pankratops as special summon and popping in their monster. It's essentially the same thing, except you don't have to draw Pankratops, which Pankratops you can't search with Fossil Dig anyway. But I mean, Pankratops is an important card. And Dino Wrestlers have been bad for a long time. So I'm hoping that they'll release this as like a Limit 1. There will never be more hype around dinosaurs than right now. So Pankratops makes the most sense to release right now. I think they would get the most sales out of it right now. So maybe they'll release this as a Limit 1 bundle. But I feel like if there was going to be a Limit 1 bundle, it probably would have already leaked. Not necessarily. We'll have to see. True King, Lithos Sagam, the Disaster. This is extremely based, but unfortunately this card is not going to come to Duel Links. This is a level 9 Earth Wyrm monster. If this card is in your hand, you can destroy 2 other monsters in your hand and or on your field, including an Earth monster. If you do special summon this card, and if you do that, and both the monsters you destroyed were Earth, you can also look at your opponent's extra deck and banish up to 3 monsters with different names, which is insanely powerful. Lithos Sagam, the Disaster is a card that absolutely will end the game in Master Duel because it removes important combo pieces that your opponent has, and then they can't even build their board. But in Duel Links, it would be even crazier because we only have 9 cards in our extra deck. So yeah, there's no way this card is ever coming to Duel Links, sadly, but it's really funny. Ultimate Conductor Tyranno. There's this card has to be coming. We don't know for certain yet, but it. Like, you don't play Overraptor and Animadorned Archosaur without a target. You need a target for your double evolution pill, and the only target that anyone ever makes is Tyranno. Level 10 Light Dinosaur Monster cannot be normal summoned or set, must first be special summoned from your hand by banishing 2 dinosaur monsters from your graveyard, or you can special summon it with the double evolution pill. Once returned during either player's main phase, you can destroy 1 monster in your hand or on your field. If you do, change all face-up monsters your opponent controls to face-down defense position. This card can attack all monsters your opponent controls once each. And at the start of the damage step, if this card attacks a defense position monster, you can inflict 1,000 damage to your opponent. And if you do that, send the defense position monster to the graveyard. Cool. Good effect. I like it a lot. So yeah, we'll see how this deck plays. Tyranno basically getting to Book of Eclipse your opponent, and you can probably play Book of Eclipse as well, so that you can double down on the pops and the sets, is really strong. And then Tyranno, of course, can just clear every monster that you set, and your opponent takes a bunch of damage. Even if it gets halved, that's not the worst thing in the world. And then you just kill your opponent. Pretty easy. Fossil Dig is in the game already. Add 1 level 6 dinosaur monster to your hand. Double evolution pill in the game already. Banish a dinosaur and a non-dinosaur monster from your hand and graveyard. Special summon 1 level 7 or higher dinosaur monster from your hand or deck, ignoring its summoning conditions. So Ultimate Conductor Tyranno plops face down, kill him. Pot of Prosperity, Pot of Prosperity is ridiculous, but it's not coming to Duel Links. Ground Xeno is a Xeno card. It could come, but probably not yet. Dragonic Diagram is used for Disaster, so since we're not getting Disaster, this card's already in the game, but we don't need it. And then Call by the Grave is not necessary because there's no hand traps. So yeah, as you can see, if you ignore all the Master Duel specific stuff like the hand traps and the anti-hand traps, and then you ignore the cards that are too new as well as the cards that are too broken, basically the only cards we are missing from this setup are the cards we know are coming, which is Animadorned Archosaur, Soul Eating Overraptor, Petite Ranodon, which is almost certain to come because it's part of this whole package, the scrap cards, which sadly Konami has indicated might not come with their skill, preventing you from playing scraps, and then UCT, which is they're going to give us UCT, guys. That's just, they're not going to not give us UCT when they're giving us a Soul Eating Overraptor skill. There's no point. So yeah, cool. So this is the full power of dinosaurs. This guy mentioned that his end board is Ultimate Conductor Tyranno, Evolzar Lars, Sprite Elf, Borreload Savage Dragon, and Evolzar Dulka or Evolzar Logia, which is a huge board. That's a pretty powerful engine. Granted, he does have Xeno Meteorus, which gives him quite a bit of extension, but Xeno Meteorus and Ground Xeno will probably only... That's going to get him the Lars. So you don't have the Lars... Savage is not in the game. Savage is not coming to the game. But but you could make Savage. We could, okay, if we get Scrap Raptor and you don't play the skill, you could potentially like get like a decent-ish rank 8 out, or level 8 synchro monster out. So probably it has to be like a pure rank 8, so you can't make Crystal Wing with it, but you can make like um, you can't make Draco Berserker either because it's not dark. What level 8 would you make? What level 8's good? Are there any good level 8 synchros in this game right now? I guess the only one I can think of is Cyber / Harpy Lady, which is not terrible. I do think that, so bringing that up though, I do think that Evolzar Dolka is very likely to come to the game as well with this update. It's a rank 4 that requires 2 level 4 dinosaur monsters like all the Evolzars. It is a dragon. 2300 attack, 1700 defense. During either player's turn, when a monster effect is activated, you can detach one material from this card, negate the activation. If you do, destroy the monster. It does not have to be on the field, so you can pop cards in the hand. It destroys the monster, and it is not once per turn. So, just like the other Evolzar cards, it is very much meant to be a very unfair interaction that is balanced around the fact that it is a dragon monster that you make in dinosaur decks only. Honestly, like, you might look at this card and think it's extremely broken, and it is. It is a very dumb card, but it is surprisingly fair in practice just because dinosaurs tend to be so bad without this card. With this card, they're pretty good. So, yeah, it doesn't make sense for us to get Evolzar Dolka any other time unless they are specifically thinking of, like, adding Evolzar Dolka and Evolzar Lars later. But Lars is like a completely different beast. Lars is not really dinosaur support. Yes, it came out, around the same time as Transcend, and it was pretty good then. But Evolzar Lars was primarily released to make Fiendsmith better, and it is good in Fiendsmith, but it's also decent-ish in dinosaurs. So, I mean, I think that Evolzar Lars will probably come as like part of. It's either going to be like a Limit 1 as part of the Transcend package, or it will probably come on its own way later. But I don't think that Dolka is going to be held out that long. Like, they have to give us something to do with this board. UCT is a good card, but we're going to be playing Oviraptor and Giant King Rex, and the skill does make one of your monsters level 4. Even if the intention is for you to use Oviraptor to destroy your monster, like, if you don't destroy your monster, you're going to use the level 4 for something. Yes, we can use it to make Logia, and Logia is a really good card. During either player's turn, when a monster would be normal, special summon, or a spell trap would be activated, you can attach 2 materials from this card, negate the summoner activation if you do destroy the card. That is also really, really good. It is also not once per turn, but it does use both your materials, so you can typically only do it once. But Dolka is just like a more generically useful effect against a lot of decks, and because we have skills that basically mean you can set up a board without using a monster effect, I do think that Dolka will be significantly weaker than it is in the real game, where it can basically just stop you from starting your turn to begin with. Anyway, that is the deck. Oh, also, I guess I talked about the scrap, so I'll talk about Scrap Wyvern real quick. I am so sad that I've just, like, talked myself out of the whole point of this video. I was so excited for Scrap Raptor, and now I'm just like, oh no. Scrap Wyvern, Earth, Dragon Monster, requires 2 monsters, including a Scrap Monster. Link to 1700 attack points. You can target 1 Scrap in your graveyard, special summon it, then destroy another card you control. If another face-up Scrap Monster you control is destroyed by card effect while you control this monster, you can special summon a Scrap Monster from your deck, then destroy 1 card on the field. So you can link... so you... Scrap Raptor... pop the Scrap Chimera, or Scrap Raptor pop itself, you get an extra normal summon, draw Scrap Chimera, normal summon, special summon Scrap Raptor, link these 2 off into the Scrap Wyvern destroy, or special summon the Scrap Raptor, and then destroy a card you control, and then if you destroy, like, for example, your Scrap Raptor, you can special summon like a Scrap Raptor from your deck, because you play 2 of them. And then you have this link 2 on the board while also having a level 4 dinosaur monster that's a tuner. And then you have some cards in your graveyard, including a non-dinosaur for your evolution pill. So Yeah, that's the basic idea of playing Scraps. And then the main reason that people play Scrap Wyvern is because it goes to the graveyard as part of your combo, and then you can equip it with your board load Savage Dragon, which we don't need that right now, but it is useful to have later. So anyway, that's the video. My name is Serafi, and I was thrilled to have all of you guys with me.